Hey guys, so this is GW's commander Cervan Dante, the 1,000-year-old space marine, the oldest space marine in known existence, and chapter master of the Blood Angels. Commander Dante is pretty cool. He's got a good model, a pretty cool model, but he's got even better fluff. He's been around since, well, forever. He was there when Sanguinus fell to Horus, and he's said to wear a mask in the shape or the form of Sanguinus's dying face. So it's his death mask, and all who gaze upon it are filled with dread and horror, at least on the battlefield, if you roll high enough. Is that right? He's about the size of a regular space marine, if not maybe even smaller, and got a lot of cool detail. Got his armor, what's it called? Artifice armor, and his cool pistol, his perdition pistol, and his cool axe, and his custom jump pack, which sort of has modified intakes and a bit more of a detailed back. And my thing with this is that I feel like he's a little bit like he's sort of, I guess he's leading the charge, but I want to see this guy in battle. This guy's been around for 1,000 years, which means that he is one tough dude, and I reckon that this model is a little bit too flyboy for my taste. It's a little bit too Jude Law, and I think I want him to be a bit more sort of, I don't know, what am I thinking, Clive Owen? Less Jude Law, more Gerard Butler, I guess. Less Jude Law, more sort of, I don't know, Javier Bardem, more, yeah, maybe Arnie is a good way of putting it. Oh, no, less Jude Law, more Sly Stallone. That's right. This guy is, one of those old dogs, and he's a force to be reckoned with. I think if you're the oldest living space marine in known existence, you're probably the biggest space marine in known existence. So I immediately opted to go for a true scale, actually a mighty true scale Terminator conversion. So this is Dante. This is a Terminator from the Assault on Black Reach set, and okay, this is a weird way to make a debut, but this is my commander Cervan Dante. So he is huge. The basis of the pose is that I want him to be less flyboy, more sort of like on the ground in the midst of the battle. So he's got both hands on his axe, which is really big. Like if you look at it compared to this axe here. He's got a modified jump pack, but it's built from a submarine jump pack, so it's much bigger. It's been split in the middle, and it's going to have lots of detail in the center there. He's on the GW model, he's got this sort of like heraldry, and here on my model, it's actually like decorated spoilers. So these are actually wing surfaces, and I've carved away this hole here, and I'm going to put all these electronics and sort of pistons and gears and levers, because these things actually come up and down. They're flaps, but they're also decorative, and these flaps here will be down. He's got what remains of a Blood Angel's banner sort of threaded around the crown on top of his head, and it's sort of flapping in the wind. If you look up and look at the detail there, let's just zoom in. There we go. So you can see all the detail. That's the Blood Angel's banner, and that's going to be wrapped around that middle spike. It's not finished. He's got a power fist on one hand, which is holding his giant axe, and he's got his normal arm on the other, which was pretty hard to do. I spent a lot of time wiring this guy up. As you can see, all the joints are wired. You can actually move it, its position and stuff, but the shoulder pads are just tentatively in there. They're going to be cut down a little bit and replaced. Same shoulders as the GW model. I didn't want to mess around with the fluff. I really love the fluff. This guy's pretty tough. So he's got a scroll on one side, and on the other side he's got the blood droplet with the wings, but they're just much bigger and more badass. And I'm working on a perdition pistol for him. Here it is, currently in the works. It's huge. So I'll just put him down, and if we compare the perdition pistol to its original counterpart, you can see it's much bigger. It's made out of bits from a flamer and some, I don't know what, bits and pieces that I raided from my bits box. So my question for you, Anix, is do you like the pose? He's not flying, but I think that's because I want him to be quite grounded. And mainly because Mephiston is going to really be flying. Like, he's going to be this crazy angel of death. And I think, I get that Dante is like the head of the chapter. He's also, leads the sanguinary guard into battle, I guess. You could say. But I just want to get away from that flyboy thing, and I want to do more of a brute, massive sort of, this guy is a total, you don't want to meet him in a dark alley, and you don't want to meet him on the battlefield. So this is his pose. He's swinging his giant axe with all his might, and he's screaming a battle cry. So let me finish off just saying what's going on here with this face. So you can see that, I don't know if you guys know this face, or if anyone knows it from Warhammer Fantasy, but it is the head of the Jester, or the Empire Jester, I guess, from Warhammer Fantasy, and he usually has like 2 little Jester bubbles on his side and one on his top, but it's been removed. And to me, it looks very much like a kind of cap the cosmonauts would wear into space. I guess even our astronauts would wear, but it's got that cool sort of cosmonaut look. The reason why I chose it is because there's a whole other thing happening here. So he's got his pistol, he's got his axe, but I really wanted to explore the death mask in a different way. And what I'm going to do is have it so that if you imagine there's like sort of big cords going from these sockets, and they're on the top as well, into the back of this hood. Here's his like hood. So again, like similar to the original model, but bigger. And there's going to be all these cords running in out of the back of that hood and going into his cap, and it's sort of like a cerebrum cap, like Professor X or something. And then around the edge of the cap, I keep touching the screen instead of the model, but around the edge of the cap where it meets his face, when you see like the making of Lord of the Rings or Superman or Spider-Man or Batman, anything that's, or Avatar, for example, and they have motion tracking for their faces. So they have those little dots on their faces, and they use those motion tracking markers as replacement information for their CG and the computer graphics and things like that. So what I want to do is have the same sort of thing. It's almost like, as well, you see it in Minority Report when Tom Cruise has the lights on his fingers. Anyway, oh my god, how's it 8 minutes already? The lights are around the side of his face, and they sort of just track his facial expression. And then there's a massive like projection, probably out to where my thumb is, of a bigger face. Think like Wizard of Oz or something, and who dares, and he's like, so his death mask, which apparently is able to frighten the crap out of his enemies as one of his attacks, is actually like a light projection, or like this massive energy projection. And it sort of sprays out in front of him. So that's my interpretation of his death mask. And so as opposed to it being just a solid metal mask, which a lot of the other Sanguinary Guard have, I really want it to be something that's sort of lively and energetic and dynamic. So it'll spray out in front of him. And if you haven't guessed it already, it'll be done in the same epoxy resin that I did the Old Father Time energy axe in. So I've got to sculpt a face, and then I'm going to... anyway. What else? So